go.
All right, we've done it.
We're back. We did it.
Boom. Got it.
It looks like we're in a travel van. Where are we off to and what are we in?
Yeah, so you're not in a travel van. You're in my Jeep Wrangler right now. I'm 10 minutes from home and I'm in Austin, Texas. So there's a time change here from Canada. And we were trying to figure out the time. So I realized if I waited to get home, I'd be like 10 minutes late for this. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pull over and just do it here. I did my last one.
On the side of the road right now?
Yeah. So welcome to my car.
Lovely.
Hey, how does a BC boy decide to end up as Austin, Texas as his home base?
Man, the people are just so great here. And I just like the vibe. I've lived in the States for like the last 10 years just because of work. So Austin was kind of like the next best thing. Nashville was too far away from Vancouver, just like to see my family. So that like, it didn't really make sense. Austin was kind of like, it still has a great country scene. And it's kind of that halfway. So I can still write with people here, or I can fly to Nashville easily. I can fly back home to Vancouver easily. And fortunately I don't really have to be in the same place for my main job right now. So it's great. It's kind of like just, honestly, this is the first place I've ever moved to because I just genuinely love it.
Oh, that's cool.
Have you been writing the entire time that you've been doing movies and television and stuff like that?
Yeah. I've got so many bad songs to show you.
So when did you decide that you wanted to like take this as your main thing?
It honestly, it was purely happenstance. Basically, when I finished Vikings, I had some time on my hands and I was going to wait until something great came along. And I started taking trips to Nashville just purely to write country music because I've always loved it. I've always written it. And I just wanted to learn from the best and learn what it took to write great music. And kind of a year in, I really went there with no contacts whatsoever and would just meet people here and there. And then every once in a while, somebody would be like, I know you, like, what the hell are you doing? And I'd be like, I just love this. And it's not like I'm expecting anything from it. I just genuinely love doing this. And this is like my therapy. It always has been. And it's what's kept me grounded for so long. And basically I was boarding a flight to Nashville kind of like 8 or 9 months into this. And this was like 4 years ago now. And these guys wearing all black came up to me, and knowing them now, it's crazy that they even did this because they're not those dudes. But they were just like, hey, I just want to tell you, like, we're huge fans of Lone Survivor, which was this Navy SEAL film I did a while ago. And I said, thank you. They're like, what are you doing going to Nashville? And I was like, honestly, I'm writing country music. I just absolutely love it, and I always have. And by pure happenstance, I ended up sitting right behind them on the plane. And we talked the whole way. They're now some of my best friends, and they have played and produced with Jason Aldean since the beginning of his career.
What are the chances of that?
It's insane. It's insane.
Like that changed your whole life, that little flight.
Yeah, it did. It did. A Southwest flight or a Delta flight from LA to Nashville. And
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, when I wasn't shooting Vikings, I was in a recording studio on the weekends recording a country demo, which is hysterical, by the way. Trying to teach Dublin artists how to play country music is another.
I bet.
But I had a demo to show them. So I sent it to them, and within 3 days, they were like, we have to work together. And BMG took notice after we released Let Me Be Your Whiskey independently, which was one of the first songs in Nashville, which is actually why this is so crazy that this is the song they decided to go with. And Jason has actually been kind of just in the background being an amazing support system as well. I mean, he's just the most humble, down-to-earth guy. And I think he's just really in this place in his career where he wants to lift other people up who love country music for the same reasons. And I'm just very, very blessed to be in this situation.
So you said a phrase earlier, and I guarantee there's so many people in your life that have said this to you with sort of having one amazing thing being your roles on the screen to saying, I'm going to do this now. How many people in your life have said, dude, what the hell are you doing? Because you said that earlier, and I know for a fact there's got to be at least a handful of people that are like, hey, you've got this. What the hell are you doing trying to be this?
Yeah, I think there's this weird persona people expect of you when you've like achieved some sort of success in a business like mine. And I just think it's such bullshit. Like, people are like, It is. It's like, oh, like I'm too good to play a bar now. You know, like I've done this. And what I love about this so much is like, I'll play a small bar in Nashville for literally 15 people. And somebody will come up to me like, we thought that was you. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, this is just what I love. This is like this is what I love. I'm doing this because I love it. It's not like, I'm certainly not doing it for money, you know?
But it's neat that you're willing to like kind of, because you've become a pro in this one part of your life and in acting and stuff like that. And now you're like starting from the beginning in this whole other section. Cause like even at the CCMAs, which are big, but not as big as other things, you were just up there on the stage and everyone's like, holy S, like that's crazy. I can't believe he's here. And like, you're just like, yeah, I'm here. This is awesome. And it's really cool that you can be so humble in this aspect when you have all of these other things going on for you over here.
I really appreciate you saying that. I mean, that's how it should be. You know, like I feel like we should like, I think you can let everyone else put you on a pedestal, but the second you buy into that is when real bad things are going to happen. And for me, I'm just so grateful. I'm not special. I'm not like any better than anyone else. I'm just very lucky that I just didn't stop.
Arguable.
I mean, I'm just so grateful to be in the position I'm in, and like, you know, it is a humbling experience, but it's one that I will gratefully do, and I wouldn't want any other way. I've also, by the way, this isn't like it's not strategic. I did think about it before I started doing this, and I asked myself, like, why have so many actors and musicians wanted to go back and forth, and when has it worked and why hasn't it worked? And what I came down to myself, and what I think is true, is that it's that idea that it's the entitlement that I think naturally, it's not to blame anybody, but like that would come from having so much success somewhere and expecting the same somewhere else without putting in as much work. And like, this is a 10-year town at least. Like, I'm not expecting anything to happen from this. I just can't wait. I'm just so grateful I get to record and write music, you know?
You would have had it like harder in comparison to, let's say, and I'm just going to throw a name out, like Selena Gomez, who was on the Disney Channel, right? So she was like acting, and that was her main shtick. And then she also had a voice. And when you're doing a gig like that, it's not that hard to move over into singing as well, because they can tie it all in. Where like she'll sing the theme song, or she'll also have a music video on the Disney Channel. But for you, it's like completely separate things. Like there's no space for your music in your acting and vice versa. So it's like a totally like from scratch game for you, it sounds like.
It's random. And it's not, and again, like, I'm not trying to, not to hit on Selena Gomez. I think she's great. But we actually have one of the same agents. So I think she's awesome. But I've met her before, and she's a very humble person as well. But I do think that like it's a lot easier early on in like a Disney career to go to pop,
yes,
because a lot of the same fan base, those things are kind of connected. Like, I don't think I could have picked a harder one to maybe rap, because it would have just seemed so stupid. You know, like they'd be like, what? It would almost just seem like a joke, but like, it's the only one I want to do. If it's not country music, then I just don't want to.
Just seeing you at the CCMAs, and you played the CCMA house, and we got to chat a little bit, and you went on stage and you floored the crowd. What was that experience like, just to be on stage in front of these crazy Canadian fans growing up as a Canadian, getting to come back and play your music?
I got to say, the one thing that has been blowing my mind, like, is just how, I don't mean this as like a pat on my own back. I just mean how well we've been received. Like, it just seems like people are so fired up, and I couldn't ask for any more. I will say that show will always remain in my heart, because it was the first show I've ever got to play in Canada, like properly. No, I've played bars growing up, and I've played little things, but like that was, you know, I was like, wow, that was unlike anything I've ever experienced, and it was my home country, and it's such a full circle moment, especially when you add in the fact that the guy playing next to me taught me how to play guitar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I called him. I told him, you know, when I get my record deal, we're going to play together. You know, he moved to Nashville, played for Brett Eldridge. And I finally called him and was like, dude, we're doing this. And he heads up my band now. So it's just wild. Yeah.
Because you guys met in a guitar shop, right? That's the story I remember you telling me backstage. Is that right?
I met my mom in a guitar shop.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh. Just your
And
mom hooking it up.
She's the reason all of this happened. She convinced him to come teach me how to play. So for like literally 10 years, I played with Josie, and together it's just ridiculous.
I don't know. I did just another kind of testament to your humbleness. I don't know if you remember this, but backstage, Greg came up to you and was like, "Hey, I have a friend who's a massive fan of yours. Can they come take a photo with you?" And then I was standing behind him, so you like grabbed me. You're like, "Oh, thank you so much for being such a fan." And I was like, "Oh no, not me!" And you apologized like 87 times. And I was like, "No, I am a fan, but we were actually just talking about this guy that we work with, and he's standing behind me." And you were like, "Oh shit."
I honestly, like, that's embarrassing, but like the worst ones are when somebody, "Hey, like, can you take a picture?" I'm like, yeah, no problem. And like, I get into the photo, and they're like, no, can you take a photo of us?
Oh no.
I'm like, oh.
What I love is your absolute passion for songwriting, for country music. You know that this is the world you belong in. And there's got to be a moment, whether it's somebody you saw play live or a song that hit you in the heart and you said, "Holy blank, I want to do that." So either whether it's somebody you saw play live or a song you heard, what was the moment that you said, that's me, I need that?
Yeah, I mean, like from a music standpoint, like I grew up on everything from like Sam Cooke to Cat Stevens to James Taylor to Alan Jackson to Jason Aldean, you know, so it was a very broad range. My dad loved the oldies. My mom loved the James Taylors and, you know, just kind of Cat Stevens, all those kind of artists. And for me, the one that sticks out of my mind a lot is when I first heard Drive for Daddy Jean by Alan Jackson, because I love
that song.
Yeah, I was sitting on a bus and I played it over and over again, and I just kept listening to the story, just going, "Oh my gosh, I love this." But I never thought that that was like the I'm gonna do this. I think like I didn't get to go to a lot of country shows growing up, so for me, like I saw like Aerosmith play, right, or I saw like Motley Crue, or I saw like when I first started seeing Jason's concerts, I was like, "Holy shit, this is incredible." I just think like admiring amazing musicians. Especially like where I found that I was blown away by country music specifically was when I would go to like little bars. Like when I first went to Nashville and I went on Broadway, you know, I think, you know, the saddest thing about art in general, whether it's music or acting, is I've always believed that the most talented artists on this planet we will probably never hear or see.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more to it than just writing and, you know, singing great. Like there's like you go down Broadway, any one of those people could be a huge country star. So why aren't they? And, you know, it's timing, it's persistence, it's all these things that just lightning in a bottle. So you have to do it because you love it. That's it.
Yeah. Well, last time I was on Broadway, I still have a video on my phone of being 2 a.m, 11 Jack Daniels deep. And it's a video of this guy that I'll never see again. But I was so floored by what this guy was doing. And I'll never see, I don't even remember his name because it was a heavy night, but I still have that video.
I'm curious just because obviously, I don't know when you started playing music, when you got into it, but do you remember what or who the very first song you ever wrote was about or who it was about? Like the first time you sat down and compiled a song yourself? Yeah,
of course it was a love song.
Okay.
It was a love song. It was called Care. I still have it in here. And I literally have a binder of all my old songs back home in Vancouver. And I do remember who it was about when I wrote that. Her name was Paige.
Oh, classic girl you fall in love with name.
Yeah, she knows because she called me to congratulate me on like the music. And I just said, like just randomly, and I haven't talked to her for years. And I remember just saying, well, just never forget, like never forget. Those first songs are always about you.
That's amazing. That's so cute.
Those butterfly clips in your hair.
Now they're back in style, so she's probably still wearing them.
We appreciate your time. We know you got a lot of interviews, and we should probably let you go on this one. But we're talking about songs and how you love the storytelling of songs and Drive for Daddy Jean. Let's talk about Let Me Be Your Whiskey and how pumped you are to have that at country radio and sort of the meaning behind that one for you.
I mean, it's so crazy that as an artist, like that, especially when you're signed, like you have say, but at the end of the day, you're gonna pick whatever song that they like the most, right? And like the fact that they chose one that I wrote is really special to me. And not only that, this was one of the first ones I wrote when I got to Nashville. It's actually the reason I got my deal. This was like
That's so cool.
Independently. So I wrote that with Mike Delaney, who's an incredible writer. He did like Tattoos on This Town for Jason. He did The Way You Love Me for Faith Hill.
Wow.
And the idea behind it was just like, I've had my own struggles with drug and alcoholism, and and I will always still sing about that stuff because there were some great times back in the day. It just, for me, it just got to a point where it was just unmanageable. But I was like, we got to find a new angle to this. Like, what hasn't been said before? Like, we always talk about using these things to make us feel better. Or we all use these things as a crutch. So what if he can be that instead of the whiskey, like, let me be that for you. And I just thought it was a really, really sweet sentiment. And the song kind of took on a life of its own, and people seem to really love it. And it's one of those songs that's grown on me a lot. Like even when I first wrote it, like I liked it, but now when I get to play it live, I really love it. And it's just, I'm really happy that's the song we get to start off with.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your time. We could chat with you all day. You're just a blast to chat with and hang out with. But hopefully we can get you up here soon to Calgary. We'll have you in the studio and you can write. You can actually sing "Care" for us.
Dude, I love.
Yeah, you're not allowed to sing your other song. It has to be "Care," or we're not gonna have you.
You've been warned. I'm just saying. I'm stoked, guys. I'm definitely gonna come back soon. So definitely in the new year, I would love to come see you guys in person again. And
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
Great chatting with you. Thanks again.
Thank you. All right. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Greg and Josie on Country 105.